another episode of Life Lessons, and today we just gonna hop right into it. Um, is quiet, is being quiet always a bad thing? And my answer to that is no. Um, I think being quiet is a great thing, actually. But I think quiet people get a real bad rep and get a real bad misconception of who they are, because most quiet people, they don't really care. Well, I'm speaking from my experience. Most quiet people and the quiet people that I've been around, um, they don't really care what people think. They don't care to justify nothing. They'll let you form your assumptions and assume whatever you want to assume, because it just don't bother them. And me being a quiet person, me being someone who's just naturally quiet, it really don't bother me. So I'll let you form all the assumptions and all the judgmental things that you can form and won't care at all, because my mindset is just like you had that time to form the assumption, to make the judgment. You could have easily came to me, and whatever it is that you was thinking or whatever it is that you wanted to know, you could have easily came to me and asked a simple question, and I would have gave you a simple answer. But most quiet people, to me, and matter of fact, I'll just speak for me because I'm quiet. As a person who's naturally quiet, to me, the perks of being quiet and the benefits of being quiet is you're so observant. You observe everything, like even things that you probably shouldn't observe. Like, you notice everything, even the things that you probably shouldn't notice. And the one thing that I like to say about quiet people and me in general is that majority of quiet people are great listeners because they don't like talking. So I'd rather listen to you speak than say anything. So whatever you're telling me, I'm soaking it in, and I can repeat it back to you verbatim. So like, my memory is great. Like, I like listening to people talk. I like letting people who like to talk, because the one thing that most quiet people understand is the more you let a person talk, the more you learn about them, the more you know about them. So most quiet people, if you're dealing with a quiet person, they know way more about you than you know about them. And they know way more about you than you think they know. Because while you're sitting over there venting and while you're sitting over there going on your rant, they're just sitting back listening to you. And they're not doing this to get one over on you. They're not doing this out of malice. They're not doing this to hold something over your head. They're literally just doing this because, one, they're quiet, and two, they like to listen. And like, that's how I am. Like, I generally will just let someone sit and talk for hours and hours, and I'll just listen to them and won't say a word. And I don't think people understand how to deal with quiet people all the time, because it can look like that person's not engaged. It can look like that person's not listening. But how I get myself out of that bind is, if I'm ever told you're not listening, or are you even listening to me, or whatever the case may be, I can repeat everything that was said to me verbatim back to back. And then you kind of end up looking stupid in the end, because yes, I was listening, but I'm also the kind of person who, one of my biggest pet peeves is I don't like being cut off. So I'll never cut no one off when they're talking, because in my mind, if someone's trying to get a point across and they're genuine about what they're trying to get across, I'm not going to cut them off, because the last thing I want them to do is get cut off and then they forget everything that they were trying to say. So even if that person is jumping around whatever it is that they're trying to get out, I'll just sit there and just let them get it out. So they might start here and the conversation might go all the way here, but eventually they'll bring it back to the initial point. I'll sit there and let you do that, because I'm not one of those people. I don't get triggered by a lot of things. I don't get triggered by a lot of words. Uh, I try to listen to what you're telling me, and then when you're done talking, process what you told me. And in the mix of me processing what you told me, breaking down how I'm going to respond or if I even need to respond. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people, when they're in conversation, it's like they have this itch to cut you off. Or if you say one little thing that might trigger them, they have to cut you off. And it's like, why are you doing that? Because that's just going to create another problem, or that's going to create another argument or something. Because you're making that person who's trying to say something forget what they're trying to say because you done got mad or because you just had to say something. And it's weird to me, because I can literally just sit there and just listen. And then when you're done saying what you have to say, I'll repeat to you back what you said. So I know exactly what you said. I know exactly how you said it. I know exactly how you worded it. That way, nothing can fall back on me. If you try to say I wasn't listening, or if you try to say that you didn't say that, like, no, I know exactly what you said. Or the case may be, I repeat it back that way. You can hear what you said. Or if I miss something, you can be like, no, that's why I do that. But I think that's a benefit to being a quiet person. And one thing that I've learned about being quiet, because I've always been quieter since I was a youth. Like, I don't talk much. My friends who know me, or the people that I'm around a lot, like, they might be like, yeah, he talk a little bit when he comfortable, but nah, when that battery died, when that social battery dies for me, it's over for it. I'm in the corner chilling. And like, most people think that something's wrong, and nothing is wrong. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions quiet people get. Everyone just assumes something's wrong with them. They upset, they mad. No, ain't nothing wrong. Like, I just like silence. What is wrong with liking silence? Like, there are times where I won't, I don't know. I guess you could say it's weird of me, but there are times where I just like riding in my car in silence. No music, no nothing. Windows might be rolled down, and I'm just chilling. There are times where I'm in my house, no TV on, no nothing. I'm just chilling. I just like silence. Silence to me is just, I don't know. Like, it's just like you can gather your thoughts, you can gather ideas, you can gather a lot of stuff, and it's just like people will like people who don't understand or who don't get that, they have a real hard time with silence. Like, they can't sit in their own thoughts. They can't, like, they need noise. And it's just like, nah, not all the time. I don't need that. But that's a real huge misconception a lot of quiet people get. Is like, oh, he must be mad. He must be upset. Something's going on with him. Like, we need to try to, like, no, bro, ain't nothing going on. Like, I'm cool. Like, just let me be in peace. Let me be in my silence. Like I'm comfortable. And like, I think that that's a problem that a lot of people face when dealing with someone who is naturally quiet. But I think the benefits of being quiet is much larger and much greater than the cons or the bad things that people deal with when it comes to being quiet. One thing that I've noticed is that over time, most quiet people want to hear them speak because they don't talk. So when they do open their mouth and say something, 9 times out of 10, most people will tune in because it's like, he don't talk or she don't talk. So whatever they saying, it gotta be important. And that actually happened one time where we was in a team meeting, and like I said, I'm using me as an example, but we was in a team meeting and we was discussing the problem of the team and what was going on and stuff like that. And I was just honest. I was as honest as I can be. And make a long story short, I just told everybody I don't trust you. I don't know you. I don't trust any of y'all. Like, y'all gotta gain my trust. I'm new here. Like y'all, some of y'all done been here already, so y'all have a rapport. But I'm new here. I don't trust none of y'all. So I have the mindset of I'm watching how y'all do certain things. I'm watching how certain things go, but I don't trust any of y'all. And I said some other things, but after all that was done, the coach pulled me aside and he was just honest and was like, yeah, like you probably should open your mouth a little more because when you speak, people tune in and people listen. And he was like, that can really help the team. Like you should speak more because you had everyone engaged and everyone in tune. And that's something that I've always learned. But I something I always knew. Like when a quiet person speaks, people tune in because it's like it gotta be important in what they saying because to get that person to open their mouth and speak, let me hear at least what they saying. So I think that I think that's a great benefit to being someone who's quiet. Uh, you're always observant. You're always looking at things in my opinion, from a different perspective. Um, I think the funniest thing is no one can get a read on you, which is why they have which is why they form those opinions and form those assumptions because it's hard. It's hard as hell to read a quiet person because you never get them out of character. You never shake them. You never get them mad. Like they might be frustrated or you might see a little frustration on them, but you never know what they thinking. And that can piss some people off because you have some people, they make it their job to try to stab and try to poke and try to get a reaction from you. And if you can't get that reaction, like it'll make you mad to the point where you purposely start doing things to mess with them, ultimately making yourself matter because you can't get a reaction from this person. I've seen it all the time. Like I'm not the only quiet one. I've had multiple quiet teammates that was like that, where literally like because we not speaking, the coach making us run or the coach making us do extra stuff, and they know who we talking about. They not talking. They not talking, and it's just like everyone else on the team is a little tight. They tight ass, but it's like bro, like you're trying to make someone who's quiet do something that they naturally don't do. And then you're mad because you're not getting the reaction that you want. So now you making the team even madder. So now the team is coming to the quiet people telling us to speak. But then when we do open our mouth and speak, it's not loud enough for you. So like it's just like a trickle down effect. Like you like it's something where you just getting even more mad. And the quiet people is just like, I spoke. What else do you want? Like, but I think one of the biggest problems that quiet people face is people who are not naturally quiet. They don't understand how hard it is to actually open your mouth and speak. Now, let me break that down because I know some people are going to be like, what do you mean? I mean, all you got to do is just open your mouth and talk. Like, it ain't that easy when you naturally quiet. When you have been a certain way your entire life, it ain't easy to just go up to random people and start talking. And that was a conversation that we actually had as a team one day where I'm gonna just be honest. We had made a plan to boycott the practice. Well, we just weren't gonna show up. But out of respect for the coach, we didn't want it to get in the paper. We didn't want it to get it everywhere. Me and one of my teammates, we decided to text the coach and be like, hey, we thinking about doing this. Like we're coming to you first because we don't want it to get in the paper. We don't want it to get in the school. We don't want to get everywhere. We're gonna come to you. Um, And at first it was just we not gonna practice. But before that, it was, man, we thinking about not showing up. And we had people on board. But remember in the episode I said coach's pets? One of the people that was there went back and told the coach, and then out of nowhere, we just got a random text message. Hey, practice is canceled. We're gonna have a team meeting. Like, So we had a team meeting, and this team meeting was very informative. And you really, if you really sat back and observed and just listened, you really got to see how some of the coaches thought. You really got to see some of their thought process, and you really got to see how out of touch with their players that they actually were. And that's not to say that these were bad coaches, because I think that they were good coaches, but they weren't in tune and in touch with their players. And for the most part, I'm gonna just go ahead and be honest. I'm gonna just say it. The white coaches, like, they weren't in touch and they weren't in tune, because this was right around the time, like, things were happening. Bad things was happening. And me and the guy who decided that we was gonna do this and we wanted the team to do this, we just thought that, man, look, basketball ain't the most important thing right now. Like, we need a mental break from everything that's happening. So when we in the meeting and we're talking, they're asking questions. So, and certain people are answering. Some people sitting back because whether they don't want to be there or whether they just don't want to talk or they ready to just get it over with. I don't know the case. But I remember speaking up, and I remember saying, I said something along the lines of, it's hard to talk to people. And one of the coaches tried to throw it in my face and was like, what do you mean it's hard to talk to people? You just go up and talk to them. It's not like they telling you to mind your business, or it's not like they don't want to converse with you or something like that. He said he just went on a rant about how, like, it was so black and white. It was just, he just went on a rant about how, like, ain't no hatred towards you or something like that. And I'm just like, I didn't say anything, because naturally I'm gonna go quiet, because all right, I see what your thought process is. So I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm just gonna listen to you speak so I can better understand where you coming from. And now I see you are so out of touch with some of the players on your team, because for you to say something like that to a person or to a player or to a kid who's just automatically naturally quiet. They've been like this for the rest of they've been like this for the time they was young until now, whether that's 16 years of their life, 18 years, 20 years, like however old they are, they've been like this their entire life. You can't just make someone who's like this go up to a random person they don't know and just start speaking to them. That's not how that works. Even if they try to get out of their comfort zone, like, it is hard as hell to make a quiet person who's naturally quiet just want to start talking. That's not how it works. Like, so for him to have said that, it showed, like, you are out of touch. You ain't in tune with none of your players, because you know who the quiet ones are on your team. You're telling me that that dude can go up to this random girl in class or this random boy in class and just have a full-blown conversation? No, that ain't how it works. Most quiet people, when they go in the classroom, they gonna sit down, they gonna listen to the teacher speak, and then that's that. They not gonna ask no questions. They not gonna do nothing. They gonna get in and get out. That's how most quiet people operate. Get in, get out. If I don't need to speak, if I don't need to say nothing, I'm not. But to just sit there and just be like, what you mean? All you gotta do is open your mouth and talk. Like, bro, it don't work that way for quiet people. Like, it is hard. Even trying to get out of your comfort zone and talk, it's hard. It's exhausting, because, like, you're exerting another level of energy that you usually don't exert, which is opening your mouth and speaking. So, like, that day was it was weird, because that coach, he literally made it black and white, and it was like, bro, it's not so black and white, because you not thinking about what this person who's naturally quiet, all the obstacles he has to go through, all the damn things that he have to do to even get him to muster up that courage to just speak. And it ain't even about speaking to somebody you might be trying to get with. It's just to speak in general. And when you're like that, you get accustomed to just not speaking. you'd rather listen to what people are saying than speak, because you learn more by just listening. Opening your mouth, you don't learn nothing. You don't. Like, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, if I'm the one that's constantly just speaking and just talking, I'm not learning nothing about this other person, because I'm the one that's hijacking the conversation. I'm taking over the conversation. And now that person is just sitting there just soaking up everything. And if they actually listening, they probably done learned a lot about me. But if I'm the one talking and doing majority of the talking, what have I learned? Nothing. So it's okay to shut up sometimes. It's okay to be quiet. It's okay to just soak it in and just listen. And I don't think people get that. And that coach definitely didn't understand that because of the other things that he was saying. And it was just like, dude, like, you really have no idea. And it's another underlying issue why, in my opinion, I thought he believed it was okay to just do that. And that's a whole nother dynamic you can break down. But I don't want to get into that. But there's a reason why you think and you feel it's so comfortable for you to do that. Let's just call it what it is. There's a reason why. But yeah, man, like, I don't think people really understand how hard it is for a quiet person to open their mouth and genuinely just speak, and how tiring it is. Like, it's exhausting because it's something you're not used to. I think that another problem that quiet people run into is, like I said, man, you get judged so quick. You can't help that that's what you are. That's who you are. Uh, you get labeled a lot. Like, you damn near get looked at as like, you ain't no fun, you boring, you not the light. Like, and it's like, that ain't the case at all. Like, it's my personal opinion that I think a lot of quiet people just don't like pointless conversation. To sum it all up, like, if I'm gonna open my mouth and speak to you, let me learn something about you. But if I'm just gonna open up my mouth and it's just gonna be a, hey, how you doing, what you doing, like, I could have saved my breath for that. Like, I don't I don't care to have those conversations speaking, if I'm being honest. Um, if I'm gonna talk to you, or if I'm gonna open my mouth to speak, the type of questions that I'm gonna ask you is gonna be questions that I don't think a lot of people are ready for. So I just choose to not say nothing at all. Like, especially if you're someone I'm trying to get to know. Like, if you're someone I've taken an interest in and I'm trying to get to know you, if I've taken the time out of my day to open my mouth and speak to you, I'm not gonna ask you what's your favorite color, where do you like to go, where do you like to eat at, what movies do you like to watch, do you like bowling, like, do you like, no, I'm not gonna ask you any of those questions. I'm gonna get down to the nitty gritty, and I'm gonna ask you questions that's gonna make you have to engage in a conversation with me that's worth, in my mind, that's worth me opening my mouth. So off rip, I'm going to ask you something along the lines of, well, what's your boundaries? What's your standards? What kind of person are you? How are you when you like this? How are you when you not like that? I'm going to make you talk. Like, them are the kind of things that's going to make me open my mouth. And then I'm going to ask you, why are you the way you are? What happened to you? What happened to you that made you the way you are? I don't think a lot of people are ready for those conversations. And in my opinion, those are the type of conversations that's going to get a quiet person to speak, because they realize I ain't wasting my breath. They realize that, okay, I can talk about this. And like, the biggest thing that I got and I get for being quiet is, I didn't know you could speak so well. Or I get, man, you so quiet, I didn't know you thought like that. Or the questions you asking me, I wasn't ready for. And it's just like these are the type of things that I think about in my head, because, like, These are the type of conversations I want to have with people, because the small talk just ain't for me. I hate small talk. I can't stand it. It's boring. Like, what you doing every minute and every 24 seconds? It's like, but that's why that's why I suck at that. Like, I'm the kind of person where it's like, I suck at small talk. So a regular conversation with me ain't gonna get nowhere. You probably gonna think I'm boring. You ain't gonna want to talk to me, or you gonna think I'm not interested. But if I ask you certain hard-hitting questions and you can't answer them because no man or nobody has ever asked you these kind of questions, you'd probably run. Your flight response will kick in, because you'll probably think I'm trying to get over on you, or you'll probably think something wrong with me or something. But nah, I genuinely just want to know, because that's the kind of person I am. So I'm going to ask you hard-hitting questions. I think that because of how I am, man, that short talk, that the beginning phase of it just don't do nothing for me, because it's boring. Like, I'm not going, what you doing to them. That I'm the kind of person where, like, if I'd have took an interest in you, like, I'm I'll need you in my presence more than just talking or texting you, because talking to you on the phone, I'll get quiet. Just naturally, I'll get quiet because I like comfortable silence. That's just me. I really enjoy comfortable silence. I can sit on the phone with you for hours. Whether you somebody I'm trying to be with, whether you somebody I'm just cool with, like my brother, anybody. I can literally just kick it with you on the phone and don't say nothing. I can, but if you're somebody who needs that engagement, I'll tell you off rip, you're probably best in my presence, because talking on the phone, you'll probably think I'm not interested. Texting, you'll probably think I'm not interested, because I don't do the small talk. I suck at it. It's boring to me. I can't stand it. It's just pointless. Like, if we gonna have genuine conversation, I'm gonna ask you deep questions that's probably gonna open up some unhealed wounds that you probably thought you healed from, and you didn't. But to me, in my mind, that's the real you. That's the that's how you get to know the real person. So that's what I do. But I'm very, nah, I need you here type. Like, because talking and texting, you'll probably think I'm not interested because I'm so quiet. Um, but I think that being quiet is way beneficial than people try to make it seem. Does it have its times where it hurts you? Yes, because you not speaking up, you not voicing things could have certain doors closed on you. Um, you not being vocal about certain things could sometimes cause you to lose opportunities. Uh, it can let things slip past your fingers. It could make people overlook you and oversee you. So it definitely have its downside, but in my opinion, there's way more pros than cons to being quiet, in my opinion. Um, because being quiet, I don't know, for me, being quiet, it just gives me a certain level of peace. And it teaches you to bite your tongue on a lot of things, because you're not quick to react to certain things that some people would react to, because you know how to gather your thoughts, or you know how to talk to yourself in your own head, and you can remain calm and you can remain quiet. So in certain situations where some people would blow up, you done already told yourself in your head, ain't even worth it, man. Just don't even say nothing. That's just how it is. So I definitely think that being quiet is a major, major benefit, because like I said, I can learn more about you in one day than anybody that you'd have known in maybe years know about you. if you are willing to talk. And if I sit and I let you talk and I let you speak and how observant I am, like, this is one thing about me that shocks people and they don't realize it. Like, I'm so observant and I'm so quiet and I just sit back and I just watch things. Like I said, even things that I probably shouldn't even watch. I pick up on things that I probably shouldn't even pick up on. But I'm so observant and I'm so quiet and I like to just sit back and just let people talk that there are certain things, certain facial expressions, there are certain things that people do that I pick up on, and I can sit there and they'll be doing something and I can be like, what happened? Or what you thinking about? Why you frustrated? And they'll be like, how you know I'm frustrated? And then I'll say, well, I noticed that whenever you in deep thought or whenever you frustrated, you do this thing with your nose or you do this thing with your mouth. Or whenever you in deep thought, like there was one person that I knew where I was like, whenever you in deep thought, you have a vein that pop up right here. And I know you thinking. And whatever it is you thinking about, it's on your mind heavy. And then like they're like, that's crazy. No one ever knew that. Like, how'd you know that? Because I pay attention. Like I even to things that I shouldn't pay attention to, like I pay attention to it. So it's just like I call it like a little special power, but it can also be a bad thing because you pick up on things like I said that you shouldn't. And sometimes it can get in the way of things because you expect them to move how you move or them to notice what you notice and they don't. But I call it a little power because a little special power because like not a lot of people can do that. Not a lot of people can sit and watch someone or just sit and just observe something and then pick up on something so small, like so tiny and so small, and you know instantly what's going on. Like it's crazy how many people that I've talked to that when I say something about it, they be like, I never even noticed that about me. And I be like, yeah, you do that every time. And then they be like, I do that. That is crazy. No one's ever, I, like, that's the perks of being quiet. Like you like, man, quiet, man. Quiet people is where it's at, man, because they are very out of sight, out of mind. They stay out the way. They mind their business. And man, they just stay to themselves, man. Like they not in the mix. They not in the loop, man. They get shit done. Like they do what they need to do, and then they gone. You don't hear from them until you hear from them, and that's a great thing, in my opinion. That's a great thing because you don't want to be that person that everybody know that's always in the mix, that always got something going on. Everybody know your business. Like you don't want to be that person unless you like being that person. But some things gotta stay private. And quiet people are really good at privacy. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, man, was being quiet because I was in the gym and you know how gym people be. Like everybody would come up and talk. So like this one person came up to me and they was just like, man, you come in here all the time, man. You don't say a single word. You just get in and you do what you got to do, man. I respect that. And I was like, yeah, man. Like, I'm just quiet. And then another lady walked up and was like, yeah, like we see you all the time, man. And then they're like, you so soft spoken. Like you don't say much. You like if someone says, hey, and then you go back to doing what you gotta do. And I was like, I'm just naturally quiet, man. I just get in and get out. And like they was like, well, that's all we wanted to say, man. We just wanted to let you know that we see you in here working out. We see you here doing your thing. Like we just noticed how quiet you was. And I was like, well, I appreciate it. So that's why it was on my mind. That's why I wanted to talk about today. Man, but that's it for the podcast today, man. That's all I wanted to talk about. Hope that out, man.